Hey, I'm NichBoy and welcome to Pocket for Wednesday, the 27th of April. Today on the show, Nintendo's latest ugly peripheral, geese, and games you let die. Alright, here's what's been making headlines, and first up, Nintendo has submitted a patent for a new controller. But it's okay, I'm sure this one will be perfectly normal. Oh my god, it's a U! The patent design was first spotted on NeoGAF, having been published on the World Intellectual Property Organization website last week. Ninty called the device a training implement, training system, and input device, and it includes an accelerometer, gyrometer, temperature sensor, and load sensor. This tech suggests the controller will most likely be used as part of Nintendo's fitness-focused range of peripherals. With no mention of the NX, it's highly unlikely this will end up being the new console's main controller, and it's possible this won't even be compatible. In which case, you've bought yourself one outrageously expensive part of a Koitz set. Blizzard has responded to the Nostalrius petition, which currently stands 240,000 signatures strong. On the World of Warcraft forum, community manager J. Allen Brack said the closure had to be made in order to maintain a strong hold of their own IP. According to Brack, while we've looked into the possibility of supporting classic servers, there is no clear legal path to protect Blizzard's IP and grant an operating license to a pirate server. The honest answer is failure to protect against intellectual property infringement would damage Blizzard's rights. Which, to be clear, doesn't mean that suddenly they would just lose control of all their own IP just because they didn't defend it, but rather they just want to discourage people from setting up their own servers and drowning out Blizzard's own official ones. The post also alluded to the fact that Blizzard could be working on official legacy servers. Brack revealed that over the years we have talked about a pristine realm. In essence, that would turn off all leveling acceleration, including character transfers, heirloom gear, character boosts, etc. It's still an open topic of discussion. Blizzard, do it. Next up, and the Call of Duty hype train is picking up steam. Whoop! That's a gun noise. That was a gun noise. That's how you shoot a gun. You know that, Toby. You've killed men before. As this year's reveal gets closer, leaks are starting to drop. Last night on the US PlayStation Store, Joey Sparkles managed to grab a screenshot for a listing for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. You've done it now, COD devs. You've cornered yourselves. There's no escalation from infinity. The store listing has since been removed, but that wasn't the only info to find its way into the wrong hands. Adding to the speculation, game critic Jim Sterling tweeted out an image of an advertising plan which indicates the game will be announced no later than next Tuesday. But if you'd rather shoot cabbages than other human beings, then EA are offering a Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 trial up until the 10th of May. The trial for the class-based shooter gives you 10 hours of the game for free and will be available to download on PC, PS4, and Xbone. Unlike other EA trials, users will not be required to be an EA Access or Origin member to take advantage of the offer, but PC users will have to download the game through Origin. I'm so sorry. Next up, and Fallout 4 is about to get some presumably very weird and very naked content mods. Although we've already seen some fantastic Fallout 4 mods on dedicated sites, Bethesda have finally released a beta for their official modding tools on PC. The Creation Kit allows modders to change almost anything about the game using the same tools that were used to create it. So if you want a fat man that shoots dogs with bees in its mouth, so when it barks it shoots bees at you, that could probably be arranged. Some of the PC mods will eventually start making their way to the Xbox One from May and PS4 from June. Alright, that's it for the news. Moving on now to Thing of the Day with some very familiar faces. It's some of you guys. And if you don't recognize that, we got some problems.
You're on 3, 2, 1. Thing of the Day.
Creators of renowned titles like Mass Effect and Dragon Age have started a brand new internet sensation, Goose Cam. According to BioWare, each spring, 2 geese visit their studio in Edmonton, Canada, to nest and make little baby goslings. Not content with simply tweeting about it, BioWare have set up a 24/7 goose cam to answer life's big questions, such as, how cute are baby geese, and do geese like Mass Effect? The answers are very, and probably.
You're on 3, 2, 1. Thing of the Day.
I'm joined now by good game producer and stone cold bearded sex machine Elliot Fish to discuss our talk through. Welcome.
Hi, NichBoy.
You took that in your stride. Our talk through topic comes in from Jimsky Ovorowski, who says, I've always been a massive fan of Battlezone 2 and have since been kind of gutted that the RTS FPS hybrid genre never really took off. Are there any game genres or concepts that never flourished that you guys think should have? And I will add to this question, or ones that have flourished and you love. Sex Machine, talk to me.
Well, I think we're in an age now where it's becoming harder and harder to define game genres.
Yes.
It's, where everything's blending together. And, when I think about games that I've enjoyed that I wish there was more of, I think of The Witness. I think of Portal. And for me, it's kind of like first-person puzzle solving.
Right. You like wandering a world while at the same time pretty much playing Tetris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a fine line between that and walk-em-ups and first-person experiences.
I enjoy those sort of first-person ones. I think the Talus Principle is another one that's that sort of first-person puzzle thing. Why do you think that that's something? Is it just too hard? Is it just easier to make either a puzzle game or an action game?
Yeah, maybe people find it a bit frustrating or a bit boring.
Yeah.
To sort of walk around and get completely stumped and just be sort of standing there in front of something, trying to solve it. But I don't know. I think it's for me, it's an interesting little escape.
Thinking about the question that genres or concepts that never flourished, I can't think of too many where I go, oh, I wish that had flourished and it didn't. Most of them have, but a game that I wish more people played was Brutal Legend. I loved Brutal Legend. It was that combination of action, adventure, and real-time strategy. The game knew exactly what it was. It's just no one else really knew what the game was. And I remember when it came out, the marketing was all really weird for it because you think you're going in for this sort of hilarious Jack Black adventure, and then you end up controlling all these minions and stuff. Yeah, but I loved that game, and I wish there was more of that as well. I also think there should be more dancing in everything.
Really?
Crypt of the Necrodancer, baby. Put more dancing. Taking Just Dance, which is not fun to me, because that's all about copying someone's dancing, but anything that's more rhythmy, putting that in games, I love that stuff. Bit Trip Runner, where you're making music as you run along, and Crypt of the Necrodancer. You're a groove machine.
You like games with groove then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a rock star. You should appreciate this.
But you're talking like rhythmic inputs, physical movement?
I'll
Let's Dance, it's looking at you with a camera, right? And you're having to...
Yeah, I'll take both. I'll take rhythmic input, but Crypt of the Necrodancer you could play on a dance mat as well. That is a roguelike and a dancer.
Something that I'm sort of wondering why it hasn't come back, because it's a bit retro and a bit hipster, is text adventures. Because I used to love text adventures.
Yes.
They haven't come back. Is it because it's too clunky, having to input, construct your sentences,
Yeah, I'm sure there is an entire underground community that is still making text adventures and we just don't know about it.
There is. I guess a game that's quite text-based is Hacknet. It's kind of like...
Yeah.
What genre would you call it, though? It's a programming game.
Well, hacking
but it
games...
uses text.
Yeah, hacking games have kind of become a bit of a thing, and yeah, that would be based off text adventure sort of thing. Yeah, I agree. I love text adventure. I think that element... I don't know, there's something... That's a game to me. That's a proper game.
But it really fires the imagination.
Yeah, exactly.
It all sort of takes place up here, and the game can sort of just play with that.
Yeah. Except and there's also been some really great mashups recently. I mean, you think of something like Rocket League, and...
I was going to ask you, what is Rocket League? What would you say that is?
I would say it's a sport game, but it's like Twisted Metal or Battle Cars or something meets soccer, obviously. But I think ultimately that's a sports game. But it also satisfies the urge that you get from smashing cars into each other. A game I loved growing up was Simpsons Road Rage, and that was kind of like Crazy Taxi, and Rocket League scratches a lot of that itch of just being able to smash into other people and sometimes they explode.
Yeah, see, it makes me think arcade game. It kind of falls under that sort of generic genre of arcade.
I actually think some of the best games that come out are ones that are these hybrid games, because they're just ideas that we haven't really thought of before. I think that you get a lot of fatigue of seeing shooters or fantasy role-playing games. A lot of these games come out where you go, oh, they've improved little areas of something, but it's ultimately just the same game as it was before. It's just a little bit better or a little bit bigger. But Rocket League being something totally crazy, Crypt of the Necrodancer, which I've mentioned. Yeah. Hand of Fate was an interesting twist on like action adventure and card collecting.
What about Papers, Please?
Yes.
Like, I love that game. I love Papers, Please. Is it a job simulator?
Yeah.
Is it an adventure game?
I mean, that's kind of like a text adventure as well, in the spirit of constantly making these decisions. over and over again. Yeah, absolutely. A game that I loved that I played so much of, Puzzle Quest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which you could just go match 3 plus RPG mechanics. And I guess RPG mechanics being put into everything is also like a subgenre of everything is
Everything's
upgradable.
now RPG light.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Everything's RPG light and everything's also roguelike.
yes,
Because you've got-
roguelikes have taken over.
You've got Spelunky, which is like a platformer mixed with Rogue. FTL, which is that sort of, it's like a management sim.
something that blurs the line even more are games that give you the tools to create within the game, so people end up making games within games.
Yeah, right. So like
Creation tools, you know.
Dreams.
Dreams,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Media Molecules, pretty much entire base of games.
That's
Little
right.
Big Planet.
yeah. Did you make Little Big Planet levels?
I made Little Big Planet levels. I absolutely did. I've made Super Mario Maker levels. I've made a Dream level with the help of some Dream artists. Yeah, that's interesting because I guess modding's always been available, and you take something like Warcraft that got modded into Dota, and then that turned into one of the biggest game genres of all time, turning into MOBAs. But this is now accessible to everybody, not just people who actually know how to make games.
Allowing users to create the content is creating new genres too.
And there, the genre mashup is video games and Unreal Engine. You kind of put those two things together. I guess it's part of the whole sort of progression of technology as well, that you go new forms of games will evolve as the tools get better. It's kind of like when the first mobile phones came out, the sort of, green screen Nokia ones, and Snake was the first game that came out there. And then you get a smartphone and it's tossing pieces of trash into a trash can or something. And VR at the moment is either wandering around just looking at things or serving people food or working at your job in Job Simulator or something. But then they blow out to be these really incredible new experiences. So Job Simulator could be an entire new genre of game that then gets pushed into Call of Duty. Like you could go around shooting everybody, and then you need to go back and do all the paperwork at the Call of Duty office.
Sweep up all the corpses.
Yeah, because think about, like, these guys are often, I know they're the army, but sometimes they're operating outside the bounds of the law, so I feel like there's a lot of paperwork that they need to do. And ordering lots of fuel for their jetpacks.
Yeah.
Exoskeleton bones.
You're going to order in another crate load of ammo.
And then if you didn't do it, then your Call of Duty clan would be limited because they would only have like 3 grenades to share amongst all of them because you didn't put in the requisition form for more grenades.
We may as well
This is a thing!
take it all the way to tax return simulator.
Absolutely! And then like you're halfway through a Call of Duty campaign and then suddenly like the tax man just shows up. It's like, you're coming with me. It's like, but Kevin Spacey's got the nuke! It's like, he can wait, okay? You owe the government $7,500.
Is it too late to stop VR from happening? I don't want any of this.
I want this future. All right, guys, let us know in the comments if there are any game mashups that we missed, ones that didn't work for you, or ones that you particularly love and want to see more of. Let us know in the comments, and while you're there, please suggest talk through topic for tomorrow and stay on the internet and check out Good Game on Facebook, YouTube, and iView. Want to meet fellow Pocketeers? Then join the Pocketeers Facebook group and Steam group. You can follow Good Game on Twitter at GoodGameTV, follow Pocket at NichBoy, at PRF, at GG, at Monkey, and at SamGeek. He's at ElliotFish, and there are links to everything I just said in the description below. Today's Thing of the Day graphic was made by the Sydney Pocketeers, a very special group of people, and if you are a city-based group of Pocketeers and you've made a thing, please send it in, or maybe you have and we'll play it tomorrow. Until then, NichBoy out.
Cloudbusting.